This isn't the start of the show, by the way. We haven't started yet. Can I just do a little beer mat flip? Is that okay? I've messed that one up. That's bad. No, what? You got a sandwich? That's nice. How's it going over? What a lovely hat. Right, here we go. Yes, we've done it. Thank you very much. Is this the show? Just me yelling over George Harrison sound-alikes. I can't afford... you think I can afford George Harrison? How you doing down in the bottom? Yeah, they're up for it. We will start the show in a little bit, don't worry. All right, here we go. Yes, that's better. Do you want to do my announcement? You got no voice. Okay, that's a bad start. So whenever you're ready, you'll just do my announcement. Oh, sorry, hang on. Do you know my name? Stuart, you look so panicked, like... And it is like a bad sign, isn't it, that I'm doing my show recording, I've got to just check. The show's called Stuart Laws, is that guy still going? I'll give you the mic, and then I'm going to go down there. You do it however you want, basically. Good luck, everyone. Have a good show.
Give him a big hand, Stuart Laws!
Yeah! I don't like to have to start the show like this, but I found that I have to, so I don't string any of you along. I am married. Okay, so get your minds out the gutter, it's not going to happen. Readjust your expectations, but readjust them again because I cheat on her all the time. With audience members. No, it's not true. It's just a cheeky little start to the show. Cheeky little start. I'm not a cheater. Not a cheater. I cheat in board games. A few board game cheaters in. Yes, fair enough. Right, it's built into the rules, though, isn't it? You're expected to cheat a little bit in board games. Like the other week, me and the wife, we were playing Monopoly, right? She was destroying me. She had hotels on everything. My money was dwindling. She went to the kitchen to get a drink, and I fingered her best friend. But it's built into the rules, isn't it? You're expected to do a little bit of that, right? No, it's not. Two of those to start the show. Very cheeky stuff from me. Some of you are sitting there like, oh no, I've come to see a bawdy comedian. Relax, I'm not bawdy. I'm not bawdy at all. I'm very boring, actually. I don't cheat at all. Don't cheat at all. Even when I go to the cinema, I don't cheat, right? I know a few cinema cheaters in. The food sneaker-innerers. Yes. I see a few of you. You probably snuck food in here. Fair enough, right? But I know all the tricks, I just don't do them. Like the Maltesers in the pocket, loose. The can up the sleeve, the baguette down the trouser, the hummus in the shoes. I know all the tricks, I just don't do them, all right? The only time I cheat at the cinema is when, okay, a few of you probably do this. I'll go in by myself, right? And I'll order a family ticket. And that means I can buy 4 popcorn combos. They can't judge me. I'm carrying them away and I'll just mutter out loud like, bloody hell, the family's late. Now I go to the fire escape, let the wife in that way. They can't stop me. No, let's get back to the wife, actually. Let's get back to the wife. Very boring phrase to say, isn't it? Let's get back to the wife. It's like I'm about to say, hey, should we put on Coldplay and try out Missionary? Very boring stuff for me. I know I'm boring because an ex told me. Yeah, that is sad, right? It's not the word she used. She said, Stuart, you're very middle of the road. Right? And what I said is, you see, the thing is, driving down the actual middle of the road is one of the most dangerous things you can do. So if you think about that, that's actually pretty edgy. And driving down the edge of the road is actually one of the most middle of the road things you can do. She said, Stuart, this is sort of what I'm talking about. But yeah, let's get back to the wife. The wife, yeah. Me and the wife, we're in this weird phase in our relationship. I don't know if this will land with any of you. We are deeply in love and get on. Yeah, that's annoying, isn't it? That's annoying, right? Because we all know what stand-up comedy is, right? It's people getting up and be like, bloody hell, the wife. And everyone's like, wives. But she's great. That's annoying, right? That's annoying for you, that's annoying for me. It's difficult for me if I'm trying to fit in with the lads, right? Especially, right? If I'm down the pub trying to fit in with the lads, I'm already on the back foot because of the gilet. Okay, some of you are like, oh, thank God he mentioned it. But is he going to mention it? Does he know he's wearing it? I know I'm wearing it. I'm down the pub with the lads. I'm trying to fit in. You know the specific lads I mean when I'm talking about this? The lads who have defined themselves by how much their wives hold them back. Those specific lads. And I'm like, oh, they're telling their stories. And I'm like, oh, lads. Lads, I got a story for you about a fucking wife. Let me tell you about my fucking wife, lads. She makes me laugh so much. And she communicates with me in a way that makes me feel supported and edified. Lads? So that's difficult. I appreciate that. That is difficult, right? That's difficult to fit in. And because the truth is, me and the wife, we make each other laugh so much, right? We're always doing pranks together out in public. You know the saying, like couples who prank together piss off everyone around them together. So what we'll do is, if we're in public, we'll split up. Nothing lasts forever. No, not like that. Get your minds out the gutter. And we'll go into somewhere. We'll go into like a cafe, for example, and then. What's happened there? Sorry, cafe. Oh, I get what's happened. See, I've actually been to the continent, so I know how to pronounce it properly. A lot of you, okay, from North London are probably saying stuff like cafe. That's embarrassing. That is embarrassing for you. Yeah, so we'll go into a cafe and then we'll end up sitting at a table together and we'll have a conversation just a bit too loud to see who's listening in. Yeah, so we'll say something like, we just need the heat to calm down, then we can dig it back up. Little look around, someone's listening in. Don't worry about him, he's always been dirty. If we get split up, we meet at the following coordinates: 8008135. 6335 Calculator fan up there. Yeah. Boobies, geese 69. Now, I've never been to those coordinates, but something tells me I know what I'm going to find when I get there. There's some boobies, but let's not bury the lead. There's a geese having a 69. So I can't believe I've done it this long. We're going to need this turned on. A geese having a 69. Hello, a geese having a 69. I'm going to be talking about a geese. What's a geese most famous for? What's a geese most famous for? No, 1,000-yard stare. 1,000-yard stare. But take a little look lower. What we got there? A nice beak, my friend. Well, yeah, lovely beak, right? Lovely beak, right? I'm gonna need this on, otherwise I will be talking. I'm talking about a geese having a 69, and it will go on for longer the less of you get on board. What's a geese got going on downstairs? Said the ornithologist. Well, the ornithologist. It's got a lovely cloaca. I say cloaca, you say cloaca. Let's not call the whole thing off. We are talking about a geese having a 69. Where's that beak going, you ask me? Straight in the cloaca. What's the worst thing about having a 69? People scream at me in the street every single day. Let me tell you, it's this bloody human neck of mine. Am I right? You're telling me that any of us would be here if these bloody necks were holding us back? We'd all be at home right now, 69ing. You think I'd be here? Call the wife. Tell her I am on the way. What's a geese got? A lovely long neck. They're 69ing till the cows come home. Okay, fine. Let's get back to the wife. The wife, oh, she played a prank on me recently. This is good stuff. She played a prank on me, right? She subtly adjusted all the clocks in our house, right? So by the end of the month, they all ended up 10 centimetres lower. I thought I was getting taller. And for someone who slouches, that left me feeling supported and edified. She is a good wife. She's a good wife. Now, that's a fun start to the show, right? We're 10 minutes in. Right? I like doing that routine, fun routine. I'd say the only thing, in my opinion, that could make that routine better is if I actually had a wife. Yeah, because it would be real, right? It would be real. It would be true. And I wouldn't be so lonely. Whereas now we're in a situation where you're just like, What's going on? You just lied to us for 10 minutes. What the hell is going on, Stuart, right? And even worse, did you just make up a female character and not even give her a name? There's a problem with female representation in storytelling as it is. Yeah, you got me. But if I could come back at you, not one of you put your hand up to be like, does she have a name? So we're all guilty, I'll take us all down. It's difficult to start a show, right? I want to come out here and be relatable, and you'll be like, oh my God, this guy seems like it was such a dream. Are we going to ignore the gilet? His wife seems so cool, right? If it helps, the male character in that story is completely made up as well. Does that help? Do you hear some of the stuff that guy was getting up to? Extremely extroverted behavior. Talking out loud in a cafe. What the hell? No, thank you, right? If I was to tell you the truth about my life, it's just way more difficult to start a show with it. It would be about grief and permanence and sperm. I think I'm opening with that. The truth is, I'm single, I haven't got any children, and I've had a vasectomy. The Holy Trinity. Finally, someone had the courage to do all three. Originally, this show was just going to be like a joyful hour about my wife and beer mat flipping, right? And then, yeah, that would have been fun, right? I've got all the beer mats. That seems a shame not to do that. And someone said to me, Stuart, why are you so closed off? Why do you refuse to say anything truthful about yourself? And I said, I don't really get that modern obsession with constantly revealing every single little detail about yourself. Like, surely it's worth keeping some things private, right? Working on them yourself rather than putting them out there. And they said, I disagree, Stuart, because I'm a therapist and you've paid me money for this therapy session. It was a good beer mat flip, Stuart, but it's a waste of your money. A beer mat flip bit's not true, but let's have a bit of fun along the way, right? But I did have an argument with a therapist because I was refusing to say anything about myself. That's bad, isn't it? That is bad. That's like taking your car to the mechanic, but refusing to unlock it. You're the fucking expert. You get in there, you smug prick. So why tell the truth now, right? Why do this show now? Well, last year when I was writing it, I wasn't doing particularly well, and then I got a message from my dad that changed how I saw things. Now, that might not seem like a particularly big deal, but the thing you have to understand about my specific dad is he died 7 years before that. Oh, okay. That does sound like a show, actually. A quick question, Stuart. Sort of still reeling from the whole doesn't have a wife thing. Thought this would all be about beer mat flipping, which my dad taught me, by the way. I just want to check. Is it going to be all about dead dad grief stuff straight away? Because that sounds quite heavy. No, relax. Very specific heckler, wherever you're sat. I'm going to ease you in. Oh, don't need that, do I? Anybody want that? You want that? Yeah, there you go. Oh, sorry, hang on. He said, all right. So yeah, I'm going to ease you in. That's the point of the show. I'm going to ease you in like getting into a pool, right? Centimetre by centimetre, first the toes, then the ankles, then the calves, then the penis, then the knees, so on. You can't just jump straight in, right? I finally feel licensed to talk about that on stage, but if I'm going to do that, I've got to stop lying. So this is going to be a show where I tell you truthful, uncomfortable things about myself in order of increasing vulnerability. So I'm going to start with vasectomy. No, I'm going to start with gilet. Then I'm going to go on to vasectomy. Start with gilet. Then on to vasectomy, child-free, single, grief. That's the show. Should we start getting in the pool? I started wearing a gilet on stage maybe 10 years ago when I started doing shows. Look, any gilet fans in? I think that a gilet is the stupidest item of clothing that's ever invented, and I'm sorry for baiting you into that. 10 years ago, I was like, oh, I want to wear something that makes me look like an idiot, so everyone's like, what an idiot, right? So I picked the gilet. It's a clown costume. But if I'm going to do this show properly and tell you the truth, then I need to do it without the gilet, without my body armour. So if it's okay with you, I'm going to take the gilet off. Is that okay? sort of annoyed that that's technically the best joke I've ever written. It doesn't have any words in it, and officially my mum did half. And it means I now have to do a show in a vest. None of us wanted that. Partly because, like, before you're like, oh, this guy's like a nerd, right? But now you can all see that I've got tattoos. So you're like, oh, God, this guy could beat us up. And I will. That's the end of the show. The thing is, right, look, I am a very private person. In my normal life, very, very private. Every morning when I go into Costa, I give a fake name every single time. Don't know why I do that, right? In fact, I've given you a fake name there. I go to Starbucks. I wouldn't be seen dead in a Costa. You kidding me? The name I do give, though, is John Spencer. Now, you don't know this, but I did some research, found out the local area manager of all the Starbucks near me is called John Spencer. That gets you a good cup of coffee. But I lie all the time. I lie to my friends. Like if I'm out at a restaurant and everyone's saying, oh, what are you going to order? What are you going to order? I hate that question. So I lie. Right? I hate that question because I'm like, you're going to find out in 2 minutes. Why are we bothering with finding out this stuff? So I'm like, oh, I don't know, the scallops. And then a big conversation breaks out about the way I'm pronouncing scallops. And then the waiter comes over, I'm like, the steak, please. And my friend's like, what? You said, we had a whole conversation about the way they pronounce scallops, and now you ordered the steak. Are you telling the truth about anything, Stuart? Did you even get here by hot air balloon? I'll never tell. But it's so difficult these days to be truly private because, like, social media, the algorithms know everything about us. They know where we are, what we like, but they're not listening in. Found this out. They're not listening in, and I think that's a shame. That's a shame, right? I want it listening in. Are you kidding me? I'm fucking funny. I don't mind. If you're in the government, who have you got today? Stuart. Oh, you're in for a good day. I don't want them knowing where I am. I'm 39. I go to M&M World way too much. I'm obsessed with that place. If you don't know about M&M World, it is a shop in the middle of London, the most expensive place to have a shop in the entire country, and it is 4 floors, and all it is no one's favourite chocolate. That's all they sell. It has to be a criminal organisation. That is the only explanation. I don't understand it. I'm obsessed. But because of the fact that you're in here with me, your algorithm will now be affected by being here with me. You'll start getting served adverts after the show for gelées. And presumably my algorithm will be affected by being in here with you, and I'll start getting served tickets to a more mainstream comedian. Always hurts when that one gets a laugh. I realised that I was having a problem with privacy when I was sat on a train and I suddenly realised I was panicking because I didn't want people to know I was getting off at the next stop. I thought that's too private, right? But you know that feeling when you're on the train and you're just sort of minding your own bees, just like, yeah. You know that feeling? You're just minding your own bit, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. You know that feeling, right? Yeah. Sorry, I know what's happened here. Bees. It's short for business. It's not normal length for bees. If any of you are like, oh, I could take bees on a train, trust me. If you take one thing from this show, you cannot take bees on a train. What? Fine, I'll get a taxi. What? Fine, I'll take the hot air balloon. But yeah, I was sitting there just like minding my own bees, just taking it all in. Yeah. And you know that feeling, and then you spot them, right? That person, they're putting on their coat, they're packing away their book, and you think, you fucking mug. It's fucking amateur hour over here. I got the cut of your jib, sunshine. You're getting off at the next stop, you pathetic fucking fuck. Now, I would hate anyone to think those terrible words about me. So I do everything I can to make it look like there is no way I'm getting off at the next stop. I try and look as comfortable as possible. I start taking layers off down to the base gilet. Couple of books out, get a couple of books on the go, right? And they're like, oh, this guy's got a lot of reading to do. He's here for a while. And then if that's not working, I'll start a haircut. Yeah. Not on myself. I've got that Play-Doh set, you know, where you force it through the skull and then it comes out. bloody hell, he's got old fringe to do, he's here for a while. And then just to seal the deal, just in case anyone's on the edge, right, I'll just start a rumour. Classic me, that is classic me. And we all know how rumours work, right? You say something subtle that someone wants to gossip about, so the person next to you hears it, like, oh, I've got to tell everyone on the carriage. Right, something subtle just to tease the fact that you might be on the train for a little while longer than they expect. Just something casual. Just be casual, just for them to, just I am in this for the long haul. That goes around the carriage like wildfire. Of course it does, right? That sort of gossip, you can't let that lie. And then just before the doors close at my stop, I fling everything out. Gilet flapping in the wind, Play-Doh hair going everywhere. I dive out after it. Everyone's like, what? What the hell was that? I don't know. It looked like a really comfortable man. Yeah, I heard rumours he was in it for the long haul. Yeah, I even took a photograph of him just in case someone asked me to design a pamphlet about how comfortable train travel can be. Oh, you're a graphic designer, are you? No, but I harbour ambition. You're human. I'm human. And then they kiss. What are we talking about? Yeah, we need to get more vulnerable. That's it. We need to get more vulnerable at this point, right? And I don't mean everyday vulnerable that we all feel like when you think there's an extra step at the top of the stairs and then your foot does that weird little stamp because it's like, can't wait for that next step. You panic looking around like, oh God, someone's seen that. That's the most embarrassing thing I've done in my life. Now I have to walk like that's my normal walk. See you later, mate. I'd like calling me Monsieur Stomp. I mean, like, stuff like driving as well, it's easy to feel vulnerable. Like, if I'm driving, I've got to sneeze. Oh, that's the most vulnerable I feel. Feel like winding down the window and yelling, good luck, everyone! I'm about to have my eyes forcibly slammed shut for an unknown duration of time and be violently thrown around in my seat, all while trying to give way to the right, hopeless I'm survivor! I mean personal stuff, right? I want to talk about personal vulnerabilities, like the fact I've got a full-length mirror. Yeah. The boy from Ruislip done good. Now, normally when I clean that mirror, I clean it on the wall, right? One time I made the decision to take it off the wall, lay it on the floor, clean it that way. Don't ever do that. It's the most accurate and harrowing way to see what it looks like to have sex with yourself. Just looming over it, like... Is that good? Do you want bigger circles? Gentler, yeah, gentler. Less fingers? Do you want me to spit on you? Oh, okay, a room full of virgins, is it? Interesting, okay. I said to the Pleasance, no virgins, thank you. Unbelievable. Sick of playing to virgins. We got to do it, though. We're about here in the water. Shall we dip our dicks? Let's do it. I ruined the best day of my friend's life. There we go. That's vulnerable, isn't it? Beatrix was getting married. Now, I'm not saying it was the worst day of her life. That presumably was the day her parents named her Beatrix. But I definitely ruined her wedding day. So what happened was I had got an evening invite and I didn't know anyone. Now some of you are thinking to yourself, evening invite? Ugh. No. That's the ultimate invite as far as I'm concerned. That is up there, I'd say just below not getting invited at all. That's what we're aiming for, but I'll accept an evening invite. That's like calling in sick to work but still going to the Christmas party in the evening. I remember I got there, I congratulated Beatrix and Mark on their impermanent connection, nothing lasts forever. Not using those words, but they could see it in my eyes. And I felt anxious about it, and so Beatrix came over and chatted to me for a little bit, and she asked me how I was doing, how the vasectomy was going. Now, that might seem like a weird question for a bride to ask on their wedding day, but what you have to understand is when you have a vasectomy, it becomes your entire personality. Like, Stuart Laws, is that guy still going on about his vasectomy? Yes, I am, thank you. And it was a weird day, right? And so I was like, oh, yeah, it's all okay, thanks. And she saw that nervousness. She's like, what is it? Tell me. And I was like, no, don't worry about it. She's like, no, tell me. Now, you need, for context, to know that after a vasectomy, a medical professional tells you to do 26 emissions. Send the last one off for testing to make sure no more sperm is escaping and wreaking environmental havoc. Took me 4 years, skinned me brother. No, 12 weeks. 12 weeks. 12 weeks is what they told me, right? They said 12 weeks, please. And technically that means that a medical professional is saying, you got to come twice a week, boy. That's not how they said it, but I could see it in their eyes. Thing is, right, look, you know that saying, like, the first kilometre, the first sit-up, the first press-up is the most difficult? It's the same with first emissions post-vasectomy. It was an emission impossible. Ghost protocol. And you don't want to be behind schedule early on, right? You don't want your mum to come over and see your calendar and be like, why are there 4 E's on that day? You don't want to know about Mega Wank Sunday, mum. And it's live! Because the surgeon had said to me, leave it 5 days and then start whenever you feel comfortable. What? Whenever I feel comfortable? I've never felt comfortable in my entire life. I once had to leave a pub because there was a radiator underneath a hand dryer and it made me feel sad. So it was day 17, and I thought to myself, I got to get coming. I got to get, right? I was saying that into my mirror. You got to get coming. That's what it's like to have sex with me. You got to get coming. So like, day 17 was the day of the wedding, and I had not started on that journey, right? And I was stressed. I was anxious because I also had to go to a wedding where I didn't know anyone but the bride. And I was like, I can't have these two anxieties going at the same time. I've got to get rid of one. Thankfully, it's an evening invite. I've got the whole day. Now, I want to get this started before I put the suit on because I don't want it to be too formal. But I do want it to be respectful, right? It was a medical procedure. I want it to respect the work they had done down there. So I was like, it's got to be textbook, it's got to be medical. They've got to, you know, that sort of wank where they'd get the medical students over to be like, that's how it's done. So I decided to go free solo. Yeah, free solo, a few climbing fans in. Free solo is when you climb a mountain but with no safety equipment. So it's more thrilling, but it's also more dangerous. You could fall to your death at any point. Free solo wanking is when you use no visual aids. Just me, my mind, and my penis. This is what I wanted to call the show. It's exciting, right? Because the benefit of that is you can think of anything. But you can think of anything. Right? Because the brain has got a mind of its own. And it's called the brain. It's called the brain. So you don't want to be in that situation where at like the crucial moment, you know, something random pops into your head and bam, that's a Pavlovian response. That's what you're turned on by for the rest of the time. Like you suddenly think of that time your mum said, you can't be autistic, you've got too much empathy. I don't want that stuff rattling around my head. But I got it done. Okay, thought that would be a bigger reaction. Thought that'd be a round of applause, maybe a standing O. Partly because it was a standing O at the time, am I right? Skin me, brother. All right. If I could be serious for a moment, it was the worst cum of my life. And I ranked them all. Because I don't think anyone at that vulnerable moment should have to Google the phrase, is it okay that there's blood in my semen? Absolutely ruined my flatmate's algorithm. That's gone. And it turns out, yeah, that is normal, right? But no one told me that at any point. But, oh, sorry, normal in that situation only. If any of you right now are like, oh, thank God. No, in that situation, it's call an air ambulance. I'm dying out my dick. And it's changed things for me, right? It's changed things. I can now no longer eat raspberry ripple ice cream. And as I finished saying those words to Beatrix, a voice over the tannoy said, will Beatrix and Mark please make their way to the dance floor for their first dance? And Beatrix was just staring at me, ashen-faced, with a look that said, why have you said all of these things to me on my wedding day? And because I'm quite smart and I pick up on social cues, I thought to myself, I shouldn't have said all of those things to Beatrix. So what I did is a little trick is I pretended like I hadn't. So I was like, oh, Beatrix, off to your first dance then, have a good one. And she sort of slumped off. Found me later and was like, yeah, I spent my entire first dance just thinking about that. Like, her husband dancing with her like, oh my God, I'm so happy, what a perfect day. What are you thinking about, dear? Muller fruit corner. With the yogurt, with the compote. And... That is served sort of as an advertisement for vasectomies, if anyone is interested in a vasectomy. Is anyone here a member of the V gang, actually? Anyone take a trip to V-Town? Anyone with a sweet V? No? Pop up a V for me, though, would you? Yeah, and lock it in. Oh, that was visceral, wasn't it? You look like you quite liked it, to be honest. In my opinion, I don't think I've gone that far before. And our webbing touched webbing. I don't know, I think that's the most intimate I've ever been with anyone. I don't think webbing should ever touch webbing. If you are interested, I've got a discount code. VASEC2U, that gets you 10% off. Gets me 10% off my next one. Can't wait. I'm addicted. Snip, snip, take more this time. I got it done because I wanted to make it official, right? I've never wanted children. I decided, let's make it official. Now, people decide to not have children for so many different reasons. But for me, it's very simple. I don't like the idea of spending £190,000 and 18 years of my life trying to teach a tiny psychopath empathy. Just so they can then move out and spend 45 years blaming me for why they can't form any emotional connections. Then have 20 years of them popping over, maybe once a year, to tell me my views are old-fashioned. No, thank you. Well, that's your culture. I'm not going to criticise, right? But just because my bloodline's ending, does that mean that I've given up on the planet? No, I'm a good guy. I'm doing my bit for the environment. Yeah, I recently quit fish. Yeah, good point. Can they quit me? Yeah, they can. And the thing is, right, at a party recently, someone was like, oh my God, that's so cool, Stuart. That's so impressive. What a big move to quit fish. Was that a big part of your diet before? Is that a big shift? No. No, not really. I barely ate it, to be honest. But that's what environmentalism is. It's making tiny adjustments in your life so you can then be smug at parties. So when I found out that having a child in the developed world is by far the worst thing you could do for the environment. You mean me just doing exactly what I want? Makes me more environmentally conscious than any parent I know. Inject that... No, hang on. Frack that into my veins. That means I now do what I like and no one can have a go at me. I flew here. I'm flying everywhere. I eat beef every day. Don't even swallow it. Spit it straight back out. I bought a diesel car, worst performing one you can get. I don't even need it, got the plane, right? What I do with the car, I'll go into an ultra low emission zone, pull it over to the side of the road, pay my money, slip into neutral, top revs. Get my money's worth. Half an hour later, police coming over. Excuse me, sir. Oh, don't worry, I've had the snip. Carry on. My emissions are clean. The good thing about it, right, is that more and more people are talking about child-free living at the moment. That's really cool and it's really exciting. And I think that people should be allowed to express positives about having kids and negatives, and that's fine without someone jumping on going, you're changing your mind. Like, to me, there's so many nice things. Our whole culture's built around it. Like, to me, I get this nice image sometimes of waking up early on a Sunday to prepare the breakfast. Yeah, you go downstairs in the chalet and you've got your morning gelée on and... You're getting all the cereals out, right, on the breakfast bar. I've got a breakfast bar, I'm doing all right, right? And, 7 different cereals. Which one are they going to pick? Cocoa Pops every time. I'm pouring the milk into a carafe, right? I've got a carafe, right? Condensation coming down the side. I hear their door open upstairs. Oh, they're up. Their little feet pitter-pattering on the landing. Oh, my God, they get excited because they hear Dad's downstairs. They start sprinting down the stairs to see me. And on the last step, they just stack it. And I happen to be filming? Maybe I want to be a dad. That sounds fun. That does sound fun. But then I think about the scary things. And I think we should all think about the scary things. Like, parents should be able to say that having a child can be terrifying. To me, the scariest thing I can think of is you get home early, right? The whole house feels cold. You go up to their room, open the door. Oh, no. It's happened. They've been possessed by the devil. You kid it? Look, I'm not going to mince my words here. That would spook me out. I'd find that so spooky. And some of you are taking this in your stride, but you have to admit to yourselves that's spooky. It's on the ceiling. It is on the ceiling, right? It's lank-haired, all greasy, saying stuff like, "Your mother sucks cock in hell." That's your grandmother, young man. She's not even dead. Don't ask about the other stuff, I don't want to know. And it's scuttling. It's scuttling. Are you telling me you'd be fine with it? It's scuttling on the ceiling, wherever it wants, wherever it pleases. You know where it gets? Right, here we go. This will freak you all out. You know the bit? It's the bottom of the stairs, top of the ceiling. Longest distance in a house between floor and ceiling. It's up there. I'm never getting that down. You get the cobwebs while you're up there? That sends it into a rage. Of course it bloody does. It's got the devil in him, right? Comes flying at me, and I'm like, look, I don't want to show off, but look, I've got normal adult-length arm. That's a normal adult-length arm. This child, that long. Stronger than me. I ain't going to deny that, but I'm taking it over a few rounds because I've got the reach. It's coming at me like, trying to get at me like that. And I'm like, oh, shit. Fuck off, sunshine. Crashes into a wardrobe, back on the ceiling, scuttling. Oh, shit. Fuck off, sunshine. I set up 7 vases just in case this happens. Bam, 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 bam. I think I want to be a dad. That sounds good. If I was to quit comedy, and I won't, so don't even try to get me to. That's what I'd do with my time. I'd set up an experience company, and it would be in London for bankers who've had a stressful day tanking the economy. It's a playground, and I've got like 10 possessed kids, and they can just come down and fucking fling them about. Down in Canary Wharf, right? Have a nice time down there. Good thing about being child-free, though, is that I can do what I like now. We're about here, by the way, if you're interested. We're pretty deep into the pool, but the nipples are coming up. Unlucky. I've got so much free time that I've started taking up new hobbies, and that's rare for someone in their late 30s, right? So I'll tell you one that I've recently taken up, stalking people. Okay, so that's sort of, that these days culturally is a little bit dodgy. Now, let me reassure you, I'm doing nothing illegal. It's just if I see someone do something I don't really understand, I'll just sort of just look at them for a bit longer to try and understand what's happening. Right, I'll give you an example. I was in an ice cream shop, middle of the day, doing Raspberry Ripple exposure therapy. Someone walked in, they ordered a single cone with 2 scoops. Mint choc chip, lemon sorbet. What the hell? You telling me you're not following that sick pervert? Find out what's going... They are brushing their teeth and gargling with orange juice. That's unacceptable behaviour. And if I was a parent, I wouldn't have found out it was a vicar. That's worse. We're supposed to trust vicars that he's doing that with his own body. But I guess if I was a parent, I wouldn't have got prayed for an hour. So, I walked into the churchyard. He saw me, he said, "Are you looking for something?" I panicked and just said answers. But it's nice to be prayed for. I saw a hearse speeding. Right? I was on the motorway, middle of the middle lane, doing 69 miles an hour, having a nice time. Hearse speeds past 85 minimum. Like, if you're a parent, you look at that, you go, I'll never know. I cannot stress how little I've got going on in my life. So I followed it, right? Junction after junction, speeding. Eventually pulled off, ended up at a pub. And I was like, I guess I'm going in that pub. Went in, he was already propping up the bar, sinking pints. And he was saying stuff I could not believe. Profound stuff that I want to share with you right now. Okay, so I wrote it down. You need to hear this. This is important stuff. But I need to get in character first, so... No, listen to me. I might have lost my mind, but I can't understand why mayonnaise got a photo of egg on its label. Like, eggs? We made a white paste from it, and you're gonna just have it in your house, and it's in a jar, like a jam, but it's egg paste. Like, why boast about that? Keep the egg bit quiet. End of the night, 8 pints in maybe, goes out to his car, goes to get in it, and I'm thinking, can't have that. Can't have him drink driving a hearse. Like he's out there drumming up business. So I offered him a lift home. And he got in, and I said, "Oh man, that egg paste stuff's bang on." And he was like, "Yeah man, I've always thought it." "What about you? You got a wife?" And I was like, "Yeah, for the first 10 minutes so everyone thinks I'm normal." "You got kids as well?" And I gave a cut-down version of what I told Beatrix. By this point, I had learnt what is normal to say. And he just stared at me at the end, and I thought, here we go. He's going to say the thing that people of his generation always say. It's things like, "Oh, you're being immature. You'll change your mind. You need a legacy." But he just stared at me, and he said, "All right. That means that you could have sex with a time traveller." That is 100% the wildest, most unhinged thing I've ever fully agreed with. He's bang on, isn't he? That is accurate. Because what's the danger of having sex with a time traveller? You become your own grandparent. Yeah, if you're from a sexy family. And then that creates a time loop that rips apart the fabric of the universe. But I'm barren, baby. My dick ain't creating any temporal paradoxes. And I'm not saying that I'm single because I've been saying that to anyone in particular. I'm single for a lot of reasons, right? Not just that as a chat-up line. I'm single because I don't like the apps. I've said it. I know that's unacceptable to say in this day and age. I don't like the apps because I don't think there should be that many people proud of the fact they've been to Dubai. I'm also single for a very specific reason, and that's because I have to start every date, every relationship with quite an intense, serious question. And if you've been paying attention, you probably worked out what that question is. It's, should we finish these up and get over to M&M World? And do you want kids? Do you want kids is such an intense question to ask early on. You're saying, are you in this for the long haul? And it's worrying for people. And when I was younger, I went out with people who were on the fence, and I thought we'll work it out together. And as I got older, I was like, no, I'm definitely certain I don't want kids. I now am at an age where I've made it official, and I can't go out with anyone unless they 100% don't want children. There is no way I'm going out with one of them. Are you kidding me? They are fucked in the head. There is something deeply wrong with them. They are immature. They need to grow up. They're being pathetic. Because I'm mature. For my age. 39. I'm tall for my age as well. 39. I'd say my dream romantic partner would be someone who wants kids but can't have them. Too dark. Absolutely too dark. We're above the nipples. We are above the nipples. That is too dark, but so melancholy, so sexy. Am I? Nope. Okay. That bit is in there just to make the grief section seem lighter, right? Look, I do need to fast forward through the next bit. We're so close to the end now, but this next routine is about a date I went on, but, you know, I just think I'll just fast forward through it, do the punchlines, basically. Think of it as a bonus track. So, we went to a zoo. We drove there through a village that had one of those signs that said, "Thank you for driving carefully." I hate that. Because I wasn't. I was on my phone the entire time. The only thing worse is when they don't have one of those signs and you're like, well, what was the fucking point? Turn around, put the blindfold on, we're going back through. But we went to a zoo, right? And I don't know if it was going well, but I do know that she didn't like me constantly going, well, that's a gibbon. But she recognised me. That was what was odd about it. Not from stand-up, but from the biggest lie I've ever told. The thing is, that's why I've always lied in my shows, because I'm really good at it. So good that I have created a global conspiracy that is now out of my control. It's to do with M&M World. I got obsessed with the idea that they had a secret cocktail bar. Just thought, wouldn't that be amazing? You go through a secret door and Big Red's there like, you found us. And so me and a friend went to M&M World in London and we filmed ourselves hunting for it, pressing doors, like pulling on levers and things like that. And we had also snuck in a couple of cocktails and some glasses, poured them out, posed like, we found it. Posted that online, it got millions of views. There was a Time Out article that said, have you found the secret cocktail bar at M&M World? There are podcasts about it. There's so many videos of people being told by staff members, it isn't real. He made it up. And that has convinced people more that it is true. I know this for a fact, because a friend of mine dated someone who worked there. They had to have a crisis meeting to decide how to deal with the situation. And it is out of my control now. It is out of my control. People are posting stuff like they will only let you through the door at a specific minute each day, and it changes each day. I never said that. Someone else wrote, there isn't one at the London branch, but there is at the Orlando one. Good luck. I didn't even know there was an Orlando branch. So when people say to me, Stuart, you need to have kids, you need a legacy. Fucking legacy. So let's do it. We're about here in the pool now, and we've got that final grief section to go. But I guess, technically, our hair's not wet yet. So we don't have to do it, and we could still go to a business meeting. But should we do it? Should we fully submerge? Let's do it, right. Now, I think you know that I use jokes to cover up stuff that I feel uncomfortable talking about. So the point of the show is to be more open and to be more straightforward, so let's just do it. My dad died. He died during childbirth. What was he doing? At the birth of a shark. Okay, I think that's made it more awkward. Relax, it was alcoholism. Okay. All right, that's less awkward, isn't it? It's a fun liquid drug for legends. Lads! I see what I did, and that's on me. I introduced Shark Attack, which is everyone's greatest fear, right? But no one's scared of a big night out on the Prosecco, am I right? I actually got the show title from the care home he was in before he died. I went there once, went to reception, said, is Mr. Laws here? And I heard a voice in the back room say, Mr. Laws, is that guy still going? That's funny. Their job is to keep track of who's alive, and they couldn't work it out. It's like they needed an odds board in the back room, like a sweepstake. Just sort of like, oh, Gillian's had a fall. How bad is it? Put it this way, she's down a 3-1. Got to tell her on Gillian, actually. Also, is that guy still going? That's a compliment. Medically, they're saying there's no way that guy should have still been going. And it's the same with me in comedy. Stuart Laws, is that guy still going? Good on him, he's enjoying himself. I remember when he died, me and my sister had to go over there and throw away all of his stuff. Because that's what you have to do when someone dies. It's like, time to grieve, is it? Nope, you got some tidying up to do, you little maniacs. And we had to throw it all out because he was obsessed with World War II. And neither of us had a need for a framed, signed photo of a Spitfire. Who signed it? Did the plane sign it? Why are there no framed, signed photos of me or my sister? That one I can answer. Neither of us have won an aerial duel with a Messerschmitt. But we haven't been given the opportunity. And we couldn't take it to a charity shop either, right? Because if they put it up in their window, it would look like a nationalist rally. So obsessed with a war that ended 2 years before he was born. I get it, boomers. I'm the same with the Falklands. And so we were going through just chucking stuff out, occasionally showing something to each other to be like, oh, do you want this? And it'd be like a VHS box set of like, The Greatest War, now in colour, more visible blood. I don't want more visible blood. And then my sister showed me the George Harrison Cloud 9 album. It was playing as you were coming in, and I was like, yeah, great, I want that. I remember listening to it loads when we were kids in the back of the car. There's so many bangers on there, like Got My Mind Set on You, Just for Today, I Used to Be in the Beatles. And so I was like, yeah, well, I'll keep that. 3 hours later, we'd thrown everything out, and we were leaving that care home. Some carer was counting up their winnings. Mr. Laws, that guy's not still going. And I felt sad, but not overly so. And as I got further away from it, I sort of understood it less. Let me explain. When I was 20, I bought a porn DVD. For obvious reasons. What an exciting new technology. A digital, versatile disc. Let's see how versatile this baby really is. And I remember it arriving, ripping open the packaging, running upstairs, I had the golden ticket, putting it in the DVD player, pressing play, and immediately realising I hated owning that DVD. Second worst cum of my life. Official ranking. I don't think anyone should own porn. Rental only. Same with the bouncy castle. Like, if I knew someone who owned a bouncy castle, I'd have questions. Or one question, how do you explain it to the police? But I remember feeling like I wanted to throw that DVD away, but also being like, well, I've only just gotten it, so I can't do that yet. And then a few months passed, and I was like, oh, now's the time to throw it away. So I was like, can I put it in the family bin? No, that feels too close. At the same time, I can't put it in a public bin. That feels too exposing. Like, what if a child finds it? Or even worse, a homeless person. Who doesn't have access to a DVD player. What a terrible tease. And so this adult DVD stayed in my room and lived large in my adult mind. And then time came to move house, and I was like, well, I can't get rid of it now, but I can't put it in any of the boxes. So you know what they say, keep your friends close, your enemies closer, and when you're moving house, your porn DVD in your inside pocket. I've moved house maybe 6, 7 times since then. It's come with me every single time. It's over 18 years old now. It can watch itself. I've got it somewhere. I don't know exactly where it is, but every now and then I'll remember it, and I'll be filled with a sense of sadness or dread or embarrassment. And it can happen at the most unexpected times, in the smallest ways. Like you can be at a restaurant, lying about what you're going to order, just looking at the menu and then thinking, why do I recognise that font? And in that moment, when your friends are like, everything okay, Stuart? You can't be like, oh yeah, the font on the menu reminds me of my porn DVD. So you lie, right? You bottle it up. You pretend like you've never even watched porn, let alone have been living with some for longer than any relationship you've ever had. And that's what grief is. It's a porn DVD that you really want to get rid of, but you'll never be able to. It will do unexpected things to you at unexpected times. Maybe that's why I don't want kids. Don't like the idea of the burden passing on to them. You know, when I die, they come over to my flat to throw away all my Falklands memorabilia. That framed, signed photo of a Harrier jump jet. And then finding that DVD and one of them being like, oh no. Like a horny version of The Ring. And last year, when I was writing this show, I got a new car. I took that CD, that George Harrison CD, inside for the first time because the new car didn't have a CD player, Nothing Lasts Forever. And I was interacting with it in my bedroom for the first time. And, you know, normally I was just, I don't know, reaching for it whilst driving, desperately trying to hold in a sneeze. But there in my room, it suddenly felt different. I opened it up, I took out the sleeve, and a beer mat dropped out of it with a note written on it. Now, beer mat flipping is something that my dad taught me when I was younger. He would take me to work in men's clubs and pubs and sit me down and teach me how to do beer mat flipping. And I would just fixate on that for hours and wouldn't notice how much he was drinking. They are very smart, aren't they, these alcoholics? So let's end the show with that. I'll do a beer mat flip, and then I'll put that note on top and read it out. So how many should I do? 10. That's nice, that's nice. Yeah, all right, let's do 10. That's a lovely, lovely idea. I need you to know, by the way, that I know it's not okay to carry around a porn DVD for eternity. I need to address that. But grief, yeah, that's okay. And I don't mean that initial wave of sadness that I felt for a loss. Long grief is different. It lasts forever, it's unpredictable, and I'll always carry it and carry it closer than everything else in my life, but it should be talked about, and I spent a long time not doing that. The only thing that makes it destructive is not acknowledging it and making it something you can't be honest about, you can't joke about, you can't be a normal part of my life. Whatever else you choose to make permanent or hope permanent in your lives, whether that be child-free or child-full, married or lying about being married so as to trick an audience of people into listening to a man slowly reveal way too much about himself. Long grief will be there. And it will do weird shit to you that doesn't feel real. But if that's always with me, if you're reading this, I'm probably already on cloud 9. Nothing lasts forever. Enjoy the album. I've marked my favourite songs, not the bonus tracks. Fast forward past them. Just for today, go easy on yourself. Hope you can use this in one of your stand-up shows. Dad. That was the message that made me want to write this show. But it did also make me think maybe he just put notes in everything. If you're reading this, I'm already in the big Spitfire in the sky. It's about permanence. Almost nothing lasts forever. But when you become a parent, you can't ever stop being a parent. I made a choice on that. Once you're someone's child, you're always their child. And once grief enters your life, it never leaves. I didn't have a choice on that. As I slipped that note back into the album, closed the cover, staring at that face, that George Harrison album cover that was so familiar to me. It had been with me my entire life. I'd had that album with me for 7 years without knowing that that note was inside it. And it changed things. I felt this wave of emotion rising up, submerging me. All I could think was, why do I recognize that font? Now that's a good show. That's a good show. I'd say, in my opinion, the only thing that can make that show better is if I actually had a dad. Thank you so much. I've been Stuart Laws. Cheers.